What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hitting the Field. I'm your host, Alex Funderburke, and boy, do we have a fun show for you today. It's been a little bit of a hectic morning, but we're here. We are kicking it off talking about the U.S. men's national team not being a disappointment for the first time in a very long time. Then we will break down the women's national championship from last night and preview the men's national championship game happening this evening. Why is it at 9:40? Looking forward to all that. Hitting the Field starts now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
What's up? I am now joined by Johan Blanco, Waluka Costa, to talk about the U.S. men's national team qualifying for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Gentlemen, how are you doing? Luca, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Man, I'm doing great. Honestly, I'm not even the biggest U.S. soccer team fan, but I love a couple of the players we have on the team this year, so I'm pretty happy to see what they're going to do in the World Cup coming up.
Johan, my dog.
I am excited. It's been 4 years. Actually, it's been 8 years since we made a World Cup.
Or the Olympics.
Or the Olympics. We're pretty trash, so I'm super excited, and I'm glad to talk about it.
Yeah, so I want to jump right into it. They qualified after whooping my other country, Panama, here in Orlando, and then staying within goal differential against Costa Rica. They did drop that game, but they dropped it only, 2-0?
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0. Johan, what was your takeaway from those last three games? Because they drew against Mexico, they whooped Panama, and then they fall to Costa Rica, but they still qualify.
Well, I was very impressed with the first two matchups. So they drew against Mexico in Mexico.
That's
at the
huge.
Azteca,
Huge.
which is very impressive. We never win, or we never even draw at the Azteca. It's a very hard place to play. And then we dominated on against Panama in Orlando. By the way, we dominated there, and it looked like everybody was on form. And let's be honest, that Panama team was pretty dog water. So it was expected. But one thing that I was very disappointed about was that Costa Rica game. Obviously, I think we were a better team than Costa Rica, and it just seemed like we did the bare minimum to qualify in the World Cup. Because we were in second, we could have stayed at second in that group if we just drew against Costa Rica. But we ended up losing 2-0, and we dropped down to third. So it's like we were the last team to get an automatic qualification. With that being said, it's a qualification. We're finally back in the World Cup after missing it in 2018. So that's all I'm grateful for right now. I'll talk later about why I'm a little worried, though.
For sure. And, Luca, when is it going to be we're not celebrating making it to the World Cup? Because, honestly, for me, American sports should be, if not the best in the world, near the best of the world. And qualifying for your sport's biggest stage should not be like yes, y'all did it. You didn't mess up this time. It shouldn't be like that. So, Luca, when do you think we can finally get to that stage with the U.S. men's national team?
Sadly, as being someone who grew up in the U.S. soccer system, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon unless U.S. they put the amount of time and money they do into sports like football, basketball, other programs. But right now, it's probably the best time we've had in a while. We have Winston McKinney, the midfielder for Juventus. He's one of the best young midfielders in the world. Serginho Dest is popping off. Christian Pulisic. We have a lot of young players coming up, a lot of great talent, on this U.S. team. And also the center back for Bayern Munich, I can't remember his name.
Chris Richards.
Yeah, that's his name. Thank you. But yeah, no, we have a great young team coming up. So if the time is now, honestly. So we need to make this push while we can. We need to develop these players while we can. That way, when they're in their primes, we can actually say the U.S. is a contender for the World Cup.
For sure. And, Luca, I want to come back to you. Do you think a good showing in this World Cup will help grow soccer in this country?
Personally, yes. I really do believe so. In the day and age that we are, especially, with the amount of, the amount of exposure these players are getting, on social media, with things like TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. I think that the World Cup, us making the World Cup has been bigger than it's ever been before, And And at a time period right now where our team is good, I think that if we do good, we will elevate the amount of soccer that's being watched in this country and that the amount of exposure in the programs that these guys get.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw back to you. This group that
nice.
It's fun. It's a
Nice.
lot of fun. Johan, talk about this group, man, because it's
All right.
insane. It's
So-
fun. You got England. Oh, man, if we beat England, it's a party.
Arguably, I mean, obviously, the first thing is that the USA versus England matchup is the one that all Americans and even maybe Brits are looking forward to in this group stage. But think about this: whoever wins in that European playoff, that continental playoff, that's a tough matchup too. I mean, Ukraine, Wales, or Scotland, they're all tough and solid teams.
Wales has Gareth Bale.
Wales has Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale can run over the USA's field
By himself.
but that Wales team is solid, and that's probably the most threatening team out of those three. So I'm hoping it's not them. But it's a 50-50 group. It's 50% chance that we could make it if we play USA not basketball. I'm thinking about the NBA.
Yeah, we got
for a second.
LeBron. Let's go.
But if we play our game of soccer, which is pretty much set pieces and outworking the opponent, if we're able to do that, we're able to make it out this group. But there's also a chance that we have also the worst coach in this tournament. By far, we have the worst coach. So if we get out-coached in this group stage, there's a chance we might be third or fourth in this group.
And Johan, real quick, honestly, I want to kind of argue with you on whether Wales is the best team. I'm not going to lie to you. After the showing Ukraine put out on the Euros 2 years ago, I would argue Ukraine could beat Wales. You know, they have Zinchenko, they have Yarmolenko, you know, they have Kulusevski. They have a lot of great young players who can take on anybody one-on-one. Yarmolenko, he's a vet, but he's solid, you know. So I would be more scared to play Ukraine personally than I would be of Wales.
Well, if that's the case, you can make a case for Scotland because they have a whole bunch of players that play in the Scottish League, and that means their chemistry is like top notch. And most of their players come from either Celtic or Rangers, and those are the top two teams in Scotland. So it's like all those three teams are pretty evenly matched. So you can make a case for any of them. I'm not going to disagree with you. I just don't think Ukraine is the front runners in that playoff because they have to play another game. Wales doesn't. So Wales has that breathing room. That's why I'm saying Wales is the top team in that like playoffs bracket. But overall, this group, I mean, it's really good for the U.S. Like, we have a really good shot of making it, but we have to be on our A game in this group because Greg Berhalter, not the best tactically. I'm not going to lie. Actually, he's terrible tactically. He's dog water. But I think that, again, they outwork them. They hold the wall when they get pressed, and they do set pieces. It should be a good we should make it into the knockout stage.
So I got a question. I am an American who does not follow soccer enough. I need to get more into it. Help me and the listeners out there who maybe don't follow soccer enough. Who is the team out of the three, Wales, Ukraine, Scotland, that Americans should want the most to win? And who is the one they want the least to win? I'm going to ask you both. Johan, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So I think globally, it should be Ukraine. They should be the darlings to come out of here. Personally, I want Wales to make it out, but that's the team that we should most be worried about because overall they're the most solid team and they have arguably one of the best players in that group if they make the group. Gareth Bale is a world-class player. He's been a world-class player for his entire career. I mean, what he's done at Real Madrid is something that's phenomenal, and it would be a tragedy if he ended his historic career without a World Cup appearance. So Ukraine would be the one that the U.S. would love to have in, but Wales is the one that they would be most worried about.
Okay, and Luca, what do you think?
I'm going to say, personally, I think U.S. should be most afraid of, like I said, Ukraine earlier, just because of the strong showing they put out in the Euros last 2 years ago. It was honestly something otherworldly, you know, once-in-a-lifetime experience, the game against North Macedonia. So if I'm U.S., I would be scared to play Ukraine because also they have something to prove. You know, what's going on over there, you know, in their country, they have a message. That's something to play for. So I think if anyone, the U.S. does not want to play Ukraine. But I would, and also I think the U.S. would want to play Scotland because Scotland is a team where even though Johan did say they have a lot of players from the Scottish League, great chemistry, they are known for not being able to perform in the big time moments. In the Euros last year, they have great players. You know, they have Andy Robertson, one of the best left backs in the world. You know, Scott McTominay from Men's United, a good defensive midfielder. But they can never put that thing together whenever it comes to international play. So personally, I don't want to play Ukraine, and I would love for Scotland to come out because that's something that we can beat.
All right, so quickly, Grant, big scope of things here. What is the group you are most looking forward to watching? Luke, I'm going to throw to you first.
The group I'm looking forward to watching the most is definitely Group E. You have Spain, Germany, Japan, and possibly Costa Rica. Germany had a very disappointing showing in the Euros 2 years ago, so they're definitely going to come out here and they're going to want to put on for the country. Tony Cruz is getting up there in age. Thomas Muller is getting up there in age. A lot of their veteran guys they're getting to that point. So this is going to be either their last World Cup or their second to last World Cup, so they have something to play for. In terms of Spain has one of the best young teams on the planet right now. They have Pedri, they have Morata. When he plays good, can actually score goals, but that doesn't happen often. You have Dani Olmo. You have such quality players in Spain, so that's going to be a great team to look out for. Japan's also another team. It's a dark horse, in my opinion, an underdog team.
For sure.
So, yeah.
That's a great pick. Johan, what's the group you're looking forward to
It's
the most?
definitely not Group A. That Qatar group is dog water. It's trash. But it's gonna be. I would say mine is Group F. You have Belgium, whose golden generation's in their last chance of winning the World Cup. You have Croatia, who just was in second, who's just runner-ups in the last World Cup. You have Morocco, who's a very underrated team in that African Confederation. And then you have Canada, who won the CONCACAF and who's been on a roll. That is crazy, and I think that this is going to be very interesting. This is a very exciting group, and these are very evenly matched, and you could see some potential upsets in Group F.
Yeah, that is another fun group. But very quickly, I'm going to just say Group C. Argentina, Mexico, Poland, Saudi Arabia. Poland, if Lewandowski's playing well, they're going to play well. Argentina, they always seem to be in it. And Mexico is Mexico, and I hope they come in last.
Yeah, me too.
But that is all the time we have for soccer today. Remember, if we beat England, we call it soccer from here on out.
Soccer.
When we come back, it's time for some college basketball. Stay with us.
I'm going with Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots
Oh my gosh. Oh my
God.
gosh.
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL is gonna
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
The Women's March Madness tournament concluded last night with South Carolina taking home the national title, and UNC and Kansas will battle it out tonight for the men's national title. I am now joined by basketball expert and HTF Bets host Tyler Caron, as well as Aaliyah Ovaez, and Waluka Costa is still here. I tried to kick him off, but he didn't listen.
Can't get rid of me.
Hey, so the women's game last night was a lot of fun. South Carolina brought it home 64-49 behind Aaliyah Boston's 16 rebounds and Destiny Henderson's 26 points. Tyler, what was your immediate takeaway from last night's game?
I mean, Gino talked about it at halftime. It was the obvious advantage that South Carolina had in the rebounding margin. They had 13 offensive rebounds on their first 17 misses that led to 12 second chance points just in that run. In total, South Carolina won that rebound battle 49-24, and it's just so hard to win a game when you're losing the rebound battle by a couple, but when they're doubling your rebound total, you pretty much have no shot of winning that game.
Yeah, and when you have a player like the National Player of the Year in Aaliyah Boston, who I'm so happy for. Last year missed the tip-in at the buzzer that would have won them the national title. And this year, like she said in her interview, everyone made her a meme of her crying last year. And this year, as she said yesterday, happy tears. And she gave the smile with the little thumbs up. That made my night. I'm really happy for her. But what does this say about UConn, Waluka? They've not won since 2016.
Honestly, I don't know if it's too quick to say, but maybe UConn needs to take, a different approach. They need to make, they need to make a change at the upper levels, with the coaching staff, something like that. But to be fair, this is the first time they've lost a national championship game ever.
Men or women's.
11 and 0 national championship game. For this to be their first loss, honestly, I don't think it's something they should be that worried about. Maybe in the future, Paige, she needs to shoot the ball more. She needs to shoot the ball more. She needs to take more offensive will on this UConn team. But other than that, I think they'll be in a good spot for the next coming seasons to go.
And Aliyah, I want to toss this to you. Her name just slipped my head. Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley. Thank you. Yes, she's the first black head coach, men or women's, to have 2 national titles.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That is very cool. Like, as a woman, anything that we do and accomplish in sports is very inspiring for the youth there to come, So for her to be on this role and on this record is very inspiring, and she needs to keep it going, I do believe that she's doing a great thing with her program, and she really has to just keep going up from here.
No, exactly. Keep going. And what I like the most is it's no longer UConn, Tennessee, just steamrolling everybody.
No.
There is parity in women's college basketball now. I mean, you see it here at UCF. Like, we were a top 25 team here. Waluka, what does it mean to see more parity in a sport that historically has been dominated by 2 programs?
Honestly, I think it's a great feeling, because now all these girls who are playing, college and are playing ball in high school, they know that they have other places to go to and they can still compete. Because I feel like whenever you're playing at that type of level, you're looking towards something, that you can't compete unless you're at one of these top 2 programs. It diminishes you, it makes you, demoralizes you. So now that there's all these other, programs that are going to be able to be at the top for these women, I think it's great. And then I think we're going to see more better creative women players, players with more hype too. They're going to get more deserved.
And Tyler, I think, honestly, a big role in what's creating this parity is social media, and the fact that ESPN is putting women's college basketball games on the main networks.
Yeah.
It's no longer just UConn on ESPN. You can watch a South Carolina game, a Baylor game, and is that why you're seeing more parity?
It kind of is rightfully so, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, of the last 5 years since UConn, since their last championship, we've had 4 different winners in the women's bracket. So that's showing how the parity is really coming alive in women's college basketball. And like Luca talked about, these young ladies in high school, they have something to look forward to. They are getting more attention as they deserve. And it's just overall, I think the quality of women's college basketball is just going to keep getting better and better. And yeah, I'm super happy for South Carolina. UConn, it is a very impressive thing that they did this season. I think this is one of the worst good UConn teams that we've seen.
It's hard to say they were bad, but
they were a second seed.
It was the worst UConn team in a long time. That was still good enough to be a 2 seed.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's where the parity is coming into play. And yeah, Lisa, super happy for South Carolina, and really curious who's going to take it all home next year.
Who knows? Hey, but before we get to the men's side of things, I do want to mention that UCF does have a new women's basketball coach, Coach Satya Messer. She comes from LSU. She was at Baylor for a while too. She is known as one of the best recruiters in the country. I am really excited to see what she does here. But let's jump into the men's game. Tyler, your Tar Heels beat my Blue Devils, and we'll have that against Duke fans forever. There's nothing Duke can do to top that.
Nope.
Just talk about that game.
Yeah.
Because, man.
It's so North Carolina has now forever one-ups one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time, and Coach K.
The greatest.
They
did it right the first time.
It's him or wooden, but they defeated him in his last regular season home game. And then they defeated him in his final March Madness game, and it was in the Final Four, the first time those teams have ever met in the tournament. It's all just so great. They did finish out 50-50 in wins under Coach K, but Carolina always is going to have 51-49. Like they're always going to, or the 51-50, just because they have now officially one-upped Coach K, and the game itself was just, it was such an exciting game, especially as a Carolina fan. It was kind of like, it was just, you're on your edge of your seat the entire time. I didn't know if North Carolina was going to have enough, and luckily they did.
Can we talk about why there needs to be continuation in college basketball?
I don't know.
Seriously? Are we
Because
gonna?
that should have been an and one.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
If we really wanna
Don't even
get
get
into
me
it.
started,
But
man.
no, that game with Luka was one of the best games I have ever watched. If I didn't have a rooting interest, oh man, I would have.
No.
Instead of being a ball of stress, I would have been insanely into it. Just talk about
Yeah.
like
Literally, as long as I can remember, Duke UNC has been, the game to watch when it comes to college basketball. Coach K, UNC, they're just the two historic schools that just duke it out against each other. What's it, BJ Love? Is that his name right?
Caleb
Love.
Love.
That's
Yeah.
what BJ Love. Caleb Love is a dog. He is so raw. Every UNC fan needs to understand how good he is because he put the team on his back. He had what, 26
28 points.
28 points. See, I was close. I'm on the ball.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. 28
there.
points. So without him, I don't know what UNC would have done because they couldn't stop Paolo Banchero. That's for sure.
No.
They could not guard Banchero. He was having a mad game.
Aaliyah, why didn't Duke just run through Banchero more? It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he scored.
Honestly, I feel like because UNC did a really good job with putting the pressure defensively on Banchero to where, it was wearing him out a little bit, I feel. So I think that's why Banchero couldn't get to where he needed to get to that game, So, I mean, this whole game, all in all, it had 18 different lead changes. Like, this game was ridiculous from start to finish.
That was a dream Final Four game.
Yes.
I mean, you could not, all the storylines, and then for it to deliver the way it did, like, the only thing better would have been Coach K winning.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Just for historic purposes, I feel like Coach K had to have won. But hey, listen,
Yeah.
UNC did their thing.
And look, the other Final Four game was, I'm going to be honest, was not as interesting.
No.
It was over in the first 5 minutes, I feel like, Tyler. Kansas jumped out, what was it, 10-0, 12-0?
Yeah, it was Kansas was up early, and here's what I think though. I kind of have a different opinion. I think Villanova played that game outside of those first couple minutes, played that game very well. And we talked about how Villanova is one of the slowest teams in the country, and they were without one of their leading scorers in Justin Moore. But they played that game to their style. They limited Kansas to only, to only 52 shots. So that shows how slow of the game that was. Now, Kansas did score 81 points, and they did that on 50-50-75 shooting, over 50% from the field, 50 from three, and 75 from the free throw line. It doesn't matter who you play. If you are playing a team that shoots that efficiently, it's going to be a really tough game to win. But yeah, Kansas has averaged 62 shots per game in the tournament, and Villanova held them just 5. So I think that Villanova played a pretty solid game, and Kansas just offensively dominated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into the actual game now, the national championship tonight. I think we can all agree it's starting at 9:20 tonight is insanely dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why put it at 7:30, 8 o'clock? But beyond that. Luka, who do you have tonight?
Honestly, I feel like you would have to not be a smart person if you were going against UNC right now. UNC is the hottest team in college basketball right now. They literally just came off a victory over Coach K. Their dreaded rival, their arch nemesis, like Joker Batman level. You know what I'm saying?
Luka, here's I agree with that. They're hot. They just beat Coach K. That is exactly why I think they're going to lose tonight. They're on an emotional high. They just beat their rival.
That is
I
true.
think that is why Kansas is going to come out and win tonight.
Listen, I just think it's impossible for that to happen.
I don't know. That's such an emotional high where it's easy to come out flat. And it's not like Kansas is a scrub now. Kansas is one seed.
Kansas is right.
Aliyah, who do you have tonight?
I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe shoot for Kansas for tonight because, like you said, UNC's been playing big hitters and had a pretty tough tournament this come around. So I do feel like that, they might be on that high. They might fall off flat, whereas Kansas hasn't been showing up like they should be all tournament, and they finally gave us what we needed to see last game. So I feel like maybe they're going to have that momentum to drive them to win this game. But then again, Kansas can choke at the end of it, but I feel like they might have more energy than UNC at this point.
Yeah, and Tyler, you're obviously picking UNC.
Come on now. No, you should.
I am going to go with Carolina, and I'm going to tell you Here are the major factors in the game, because Kansas, you want to talk about hot teams, they're coming off a Big 12 championship. You know, they ran through that tournament, and now they are going to be one of the first teams, I can't remember the exact stat, to win the conference championship and March Madness in the same year. Like, it's been a while, I remember. So here's some of the keys for the game. First of all, Armando Bacot. He got injured late in the game versus Duke. It was just kind of a tweaked ankle. He left the court for a second, went back to the locker room, came out about a minute later, finished out the game. He finished with 11 points and 21 rebounds. His health is going to be crucial. Herbert Davis did say that he is sore, but he has been walking around on it, and he will play. He is going to lock down David McCormick. McCormick did have a great game versus Villanova with 25 points. Yeah. That's not going to happen. He had 15 the week before that versus Miami. That's not going to happen. Armando Bacot will keep him under 10 points. He does not score the ball if the other team has a center. And then also, I've heard so much about the core four of North Carolina. You got Brady Manick, Armando Bacot, RJ Davis, and Caleb Love. The fifth guy, Leaky Black, is one of the best defenders in the country. He locks down almost every opponent that he has faced in this game. He just held A.J. Griffin to 1 of 6 shooting from the field. Don't forget about Leaky Black. He's one of the most sneaky and underrated players for team contribution in the tournament.
For sure. It's going to be a fun game tonight. I'm probably going to be asleep because it starts at like 10 o'clock. that is all the time, though, we have for March Madness. When we get back, we'll have the rant. Stay with us.
Oh, it keeps coming back. We're going to need to go away. Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly? No. It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
Okay, great.
Now the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing the I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know what it was with.
Nitros, dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
why is nitro thick? I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
Never doing this again.
We had a great show today. Thank you everyone for joining me. Dang man, I really only have one more episode left. So this rant is it for me. This is my last true rant as host of Hitting the Field, and it's kind of going to be a fiery one. Of course, let me remind you, these are my opinions and they do not reflect those of UCF or Hitting the Field Network. Deshaun Watson, Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, we're going here. One just got a record contract. One is out of the league and just had a makeshift pro day for NFL scouts at Michigan's spring game. Now, if I told you one of these men has 22 sexual assault and or harassment cases against him, and one of these men simply kneeled for the national anthem to stand up for black people across the country, who would you think is still in the league? That's right. It's the one with 22 sexual assault and harassment cases against him. Yes, I get it. It's deeper than just that. Watson is obviously the better quarterback, and Cap would have to be a backup if he came back to the league. But your football skills should not matter when 22 people come out against you. Watson isn't the only one either. The only player the NFL really got rid of was Ray Rice, and I don't think that would have happened had the video not come out. The way the league treats abusers versus people saying, hey, maybe don't let police kill black people for fun is kind of sickening. You can't tell me Colin Kaepernick is a distraction and that's why he isn't in the league when you have people like Deshaun Watson in the league and they are thriving. You can't sit here with a straight face and tell me Kaepernick is worse than Nathan Peterman, Tim Boyle, and I love him, but Cam Newton, Josh Rosen, Jacob Eason. I can keep going, but what are we doing? The NFL as a collective is sending a message that it is excusable to harm women, but not to peacefully protest against racism, and it's got to stop. Thank you for watching. That's our show. Peace.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a